In this video, the ultimate guide to the EU's entry-exit system, EES for short, rolling out in 2025. If you're planning a trip to Europe this year, maybe you're planning to live in Europe in the future, maybe you already live in Europe and you're counting your days, this new system is going to change how you cross borders. It's a big shift for non-EU travelers like Brits, Americans, or Canadians, as well as people living in Europe on residency visas. And it's about to get even tighter in terms of security, and they like to say smoother tracking as well. So in this video, we're going to break down what it is, the EES, how it works, what you need to do, and what it means for your travel plans. All fresh as of 2025. If you're here, hit that subscribe button and let's get started. So, what is the EES? It's an automated system that the European Union is launching to register non-EU nationals crossing Schengen Area borders. Think of it as a digital upgrade. Goodbye manual passport stamps, hello biometric scans. It's hitting 25 EU countries, all but Cyprus and Ireland, plus 4 non-Schengen buddies, Iceland, Norway, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. If you're from outside the EU, say Canada or the US, and you're popping in for a short stay, up to 90 days in any 180-day period, this applies to you, visa or no visa. The EU says it's all about security, knowing exactly who's coming and going, and cracking down on overstays. So, how'd this come about? The idea kicked off in 2016, European Commission's Smart Borders package, pushed by rising migration and terror concerns post-Paris attacks. Law 2017-2226 locked it in, passed in November 2017, aiming for 2022. Delays hit hard, technical glitches, COVID, member state pushback. France, Germany, the Netherlands were not ready by 2024's November 10th target. Now, after years of stumbles, the Commission set a 2025 rollout. December 4th, 2024 proposed a phased start, giving countries 6 months to deploy. So mid-2025 is the goal. So say around July 2025. There's no exact date yet, so you can watch for the Justice and Home Affairs Council's meetings, but it's coming. So more importantly, what does it do? So on the first trip, you'll scan your passport at a kiosk at the airports, ports, train stations like Eurostar. You're going to give fingerprints, 4 fingers and a facial photo, biometrics stored for 3 years, good for multiple entries. It logs your name, passport type, entry-exit dates, and spots. So they'll say like, John Doe entered Paris Orly, March 5th, 2025. On the next trips, when you scan again, the system checks your 90-day limit, and if you overstay, you're going to get flagged. Kids under 12 skip fingerprints. Visa holders skip extra biometrics, because that'll already be in the VIS, the visa database. Run by the EU-LISA, which is EU's IT crew, it's a central system linking all Schengen borders. So, step 1 is the prep before you go. You need a passport with at least 6 months validity. You need 2 blank pages because the e-gates won't take beat up pages. There's no pre-registration yet as things are not quite live. But when you show up, the days start counting. You get 90 days max in a 180-day period. And if there's a visa needed, you want to get it first because the EES doesn't issue visas. It's more just like tracking things. Okay? You also might want to have a return ticket or proof, and that helps keep suspicion low because again, overstaying is a huge fear that Europe has. Okay. Step 2 is when you cross the border. This is weird. We're going to see how this actually works, but let's say you land at the Amsterdam airport. You're going to hit the EES kiosk before passport control. You're going to take your fingerprints, photo, and a scan. The guards are going to verify this in 2 minutes if it's clean. The guards would probably be from Interpol or something called the SIS. Okay? And then done right, it can be faster than passport stamps, or at least that's the hope, especially on repeat trips where you'll be in and out in under a minute. There will be a phased rollout where some borders might lag behind and manual stamps might linger until all 29 countries sync on this, probably around late 2025. Step 3 is you're going to track your stay. The EES counts days, 90 and 180 day period again, across all Schengen stops. Okay? And if you disobey this or overstay, it could lead to fines and even possible entry bans of up to 3 years. So I think they've been a little bit permissive in the past, especially with Americans and Canadians. Everybody has a friend or two, anecdotes of people overstaying their visa. But this time it's real. No excuses, and the electronic thing is going to come right up. So why are they doing this? What's the payoff? Well, the big thing is security. In 2024, there was over 700,000 irregular crossings in the EU, and the EES can help flag them fast. Another benefit is efficiency. So these e-gates are going to cut lines down, and they think it could make things even, 30% more efficient when traveling through airports and border checkpoints. Another thing is with travel, there's some 163 countries that have visa-free to the Schengen, and maybe less, but all these different countries have visa-free to the Schengen, and they want to keep maintaining that, but they need a level of control. Okay? So the first time will take a little bit longer, but on repeat cases, the repeat travelers will start winning. As I mentioned, there have been some challenges. There have been delays because France, for example, is importing or implementing some 500 plus kiosks across the country. Germany's making upgrades. Everybody's making upgrades. There will be a privacy component where biometrics are going to get stored for 3 years. And the EU says that the GDPR will have a role in locking this in and keeping it safe without getting leaked. So how did this grow and come to be? So, I think there's been multiple steps. Post 9/11, Schengen security tightened. In 2008, the VIS for visas was implemented. In 2016, the EES was pitched. And then, as I mentioned, since then, there's been delays in 2022, 23, 24, due to issues with the tech, issues with the Olympics in France. But now in 2025, most of these things have been fixed, and they're scaling it and they're rolling it out in phases right now. EU's goal is basically a security union where the EES is tied to the ETIAS, which is another sort of visa on arrival €7 waiver thing that's also being implemented as well. So the EES and the ETIAS are going to be sort of integrated and talk to each other. So what does this mean? Trips to the EU should be smoother because you take biometrics once and then you roll through after that. Overstays are going to become much more difficult. 3-year bans, maybe even 5-year bans is what you're going to risk. Okay? It's going to become tougher on migrants. This is going to capture more ID fraud as well. There's actually been a big problem in the EU around fake documents. And that level of fake documents being used should hop fast. Okay? For nomads, any hops from Spain to Norway to Greece and all that, it'll all count as one thing in the Schengen area. So you need to be aware of that when you count your days. But there are still strategies for how to spend time in Europe and in the surrounding area by being outside the Schengen area as you're waiting for your Schengen clock to reset. So what's next? I think phase one is they're going to do the big hubs first, like Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, the Frankfurt Airport. And the idea is that by 2026, this is going to be like 100% rolled out EU-wide. Okay. A scary thing in the future is if this ends up being tied to background checks, but at this point, that doesn't seem to be a thing. But you can kind of see the direction where this is going. They got the EES, you got the ETIAS. They've talked about implementing background checks, and things are just getting overall stricter, and it's getting harder to stay in Europe without a valid visa. By the way, if you want to explore your visa options for Europe, MyLatinLife is a full-scale immigration consultancy. We can help you get visas for Portugal, Spain, Italy, whatever you're looking for. We'll find the easiest low-tax option for you. So there's a link in the description where you can book a call with MyLatinLife, become our client. We can weigh all your options so that you can legally stay in Europe all year round without having to deal with this EES system. So that's your guide to the EU's entry-exit system, your 2025 travel playbook. Hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons, turn the bell on, and we'll catch you in the next video.